Guys, just give me 1 minute. Sir is joining.
And then we thought, okay, maybe, but we can try maybe a government school, like, you know, where.
See, what happened with the annual day was, I took her and I showed her proper dance videos, and then I told her that this is the kind of dance that is nice. Objectifying women and doing this is an insult for her. So we had these discussions, and I told her that this song is not okay. And audience will be whistling and doing this when you dance, and this is not acceptable. And then I told her that because she already had gone for 10 days practice and finished one dance, so she was all the more excited about performing the group. So it was a tough call because she really wanted to perform, and I was saying no. Finally, what I told her that she could go and perform. I am not coming because I can't take it, and it is she and her mom can go. And then I told her also, I gave her another option. I said, if she misses this competition, there is another alternate school because I am in education or somewhere related to training. I had an invite from a school in Kerala, and it was on the same day. So I told her that it was a get together of the parents where it was a sleepover day in their alternate school. So I told her that I will take you to that school and we can have a party with them in Kerala. If you are coming, I'll take you. Otherwise, I will alone go, and you guys can go to the annual day. So she was really in a fix. And the final moment, she said, "We'll go to Kerala. I will not go to the annual day." And that year, we had to stop her from that school because the annual day was important for her. So I said, "We'll find another school where we will go and get into the good annual day where she can perform." So she agreed, and then we moved from that school. And we went to a government school. I thought that will be a lot more better in terms of children power with children and what they want to do, like that. But she didn't like the government school also. By then we moved to a farm for my training. We took a farmhouse and she was living there. And she didn't like to go to the government school, so she stopped from that. And because we had the farm, she had a lot more options to explore and play here. Compared to the town life. So she decided that because already 1 month went to the school, and if she again goes to the old school, they will again ask her to write 1 month without PT period. So she said, this year I will homeschool. And they again returned back to home. But it was not easy because I felt she needs friends, So I suggested my wife, because in the government school also, my wife joined as a faculty. Because wherever she went to school, my wife joined as a faculty. Okay. So either she will go as a witness or she will join as a faculty. Okay. She's not a teacher, but she was good enough to be a teacher. So people were okay for her to join in. So we opened a tuition center for village kids so that every day evening she had some kids to play. And these kids will bring with a lot of books, and she will also take some books and act as if she's going to school and she has some homework, because we didn't really want to tell people that we are not sending her to school. But I think 3 or 4 months, children all got doubt. Vipasha always finishes her homework and she's always free. Is she really going to school? That sort of thing came up. And finally, they also understood that she's not going to school and they accepted it. So 1 or 2 years, she had this joy of being with children in the evening, because every day when they wake up, they want something interesting to happen in the day. And this was like 12 o'clock. By the time morning breakfast finishes, lunch prepared, 12 o'clock, she will be done. And the remaining half a day is very tough to pass. So by 12 o'clock, she will start getting ready, making a snack for the evening class. So that kept her going. So I think for me, it exhausts the parents to have a single child and to do them, to do all that takes them to keep interested in learning. It's very exhausting. But I think we have no other choice, if we keep them home.
So now she's around 11 years old. So how is she? How is she taking it now? How is her day? How does her day go on? And is she okay still to be at home, or she wants to go back to school? How is it now?
She wants to go back to school. Okay. I think we were very determined that she will go to school last year itself. Because she's like, I am done with this. I want to go back to school, and because she enjoys being with friends, and we also don't want to keep her all alone at home. Even though, because our second child is 4-year-old, so there's a big difference. 8 years difference. So we are also okay. But by the time she wanted to get her admission, lockdown started.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 year went away. She was happy because one of the good things about lockdown was other children can't go to school.
Everyone is at home.
So she had her neighbors, friends who were all back in their farm. So they used to go and play. So she was happy. Now only when the lockdown gets released, we will have a need to go to school. So so she, I think this lockdown, we are 2 weeks into 3 weeks now into lockdown. I went and I bought her this book. Okay, I don't know, you can see this, no? It's a Tamil book. It's a big novel of this size. Okay, she has finished it, by the way.
Okay.
So it's like such small words, And she is working now on doing a YouTube live this weekend about each chapter of this old novel Tamil story that she want to relate every week. So she's now 12 years, no?
She's 12.
Yeah. So see, the point is when the kids are at home and they're so thirsty for doing something, thirsty for learning something, and if we get them the right tunings as per their interest, they just go for it. The only difficulty is we are not able to provide such things continuously to keep them engaged, but also their need for company and children. So we just had one discussion. She said she would love to do this entire book as a video. She has a YouTube channel, by the way, so she knows to shoot, she knows to edit, she knows to talk to the camera and all that. Okay, so she said, I told her that if you want to do this, I told her that if you're doing the YouTube live, do it now, because the schools will start, then you will not have time. You'll again go back to this monotonous way of reading and writing. She said, then shall I go to school next year? She asked me. I said, no, you will die for friends and you will kill us all. So I said, better do it, and then let's see how the school time works out. Maybe you can do it in the holidays and something like that. Better you go to school. That's what I told her. So there's one more bit I have to tell you. It has been a struggle from our side also to bring her back to learning, because usually children can go in different ways when you let them free. Okay, like for example, she went to school and she was so brainwashed about coming first.
Right.
And then reading, she wouldn't understand what the text is, etc., etc. She would just go back to, I want to go and study. I don't understand what it is, but I want to write. Like she went to one class test. In the first 2 months or so, they had a class test. She got 10 out of 10. She doesn't even know to comprehend, understand whatever the read and comprehend was also not that much. She got 10 out of 10. I was shocked. The teacher said, your daughter has got 10 out of 10. I was like, really? Because she can't read and understand only. How did she get 10 out of 10? I was picking her and coming back from the school. And then I said, how did you write this test? She said, it is very easy, Appa. It is only true or false. I said, okay, but how did you know it is true or false? She said, it is very easy. You have to just remember TT, FF, TT, TT, FFT. So this was, she was congratulated for this and she was given a good marks for this. But we were really disappointed that she has not learned anything. So yeah, I'm just reading the comment. Okay.
Yeah.
So the point was when I was thinking that in that 1 year of school, her whole psyche changed. Okay. So we really had to get her out of school, but we can't tell her you should not go to school. Okay.
Right.
So what I did was we booked our registrations for the LSUC conference. Okay. And this was happening in Bangalore at that point. So we went for 5-6 days for that conference.
It's a homeschooling get together, isn't it?
That was a learning and societies conference.
Okay.
Learning conference. So it's a bigger, you have a lot more people, lot more children coming in. So she went there and then we went to a democratic conference. And then I think we went to a homeschooling conference. So I did 3 conferences, and all 3 conferences, you go to the conference, you let the children free. They find their peers and they find their interest and they do their own stuff. And by the end of these 3 conferences, she came back to me and said, I don't want to go to school again. I would like to just engage with myself and do my own interests. But this was not what she would have wanted on her own. It was because of our efforts that she again regained her old self, which was kind of going back. So this was a constant engagement that we had to do.
I think it's the nature of we human beings to find the easier path. Like by going to school, she just had to read and write whatever was given to her. And but if she didn't go to school, she had to kind of find what to do with her time and actually learn or read or write something which she can understand.
Boredom also, no? Like when she was going to school, there was so much engagement that she hardly found time. But then back at home, she had to plan her own time, and she had to make sure she doesn't get bored. So she had to make all the effort of doing that. So that was the difference. And maybe
we are explaining few things, but we did a lot more things constantly. Like travel was one key thing. We lived in different places. We lived in Bangalore city, we lived in Kerala, we lived in rural parts, because constantly when we go to new places, you get new hotels, new parks, new ways to experience what is happening. So that becomes very important to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they can really become, they can go extreme and they can really kill our, energies, and they can exhaust us. So they can turn violent. They can get to all of these possibilities. But constantly, if something is not going well at home, then we have to think. We have to think, what is it not going well? What do we do? Can we change this? Can we change that? Can we change that? In fact, we went for the second child again because we wanted somebody at home. And then now that we have 3 children, to some extent we survived the lockdown very peacefully because we have space outside the home. We have a neighboring farm where there are kids, our children can go and play. And this was like, we have always lived in lockdown. Okay. Not meaning we were not allowed to travel. We traveled, we went to other places, but there were always times when we are at home and we had to do our own stuff. So this lockdown was slightly challenging on the travel bit, but being at home, we know how to engage ourselves. I think there is a point where the child will be very agitative being at home. But beyond that point, the child will learn that, okay, this father is helpless, this mother is helpless. I have to do what interests me and I have to make my day. They will come to this psyche. And then they will start asking for things, get me a oven, get me a cricket bat, get me this. And then we get those things and they can manage. But there is a point beyond that where they will come back and also tell you that we can do something different, or I want to go to school. But this is a cycle like this, it goes on.
Yeah. And so what is the difference that you see, or whatever she's learned by being homeschooled that a regular school going child would have not learned, or if she went to school would have not learned? What do you see those special characters in her that comes to your mind when I say that she's achieved or she's gained through these 11, 12 years?
So, what did you say?
Like you said, she does YouTube videos. She learned how to edit, how to shoot a YouTube video on her own. Like that, like whatever she's learned. Like you said, she learned a lot of languages when she was really young. So what are these things that she picked up on her own?
And cooking is another thing. Like cooking is one of her passions. Like she used to dish out like so many things with her own recipes, and then with the YouTube channel, she start uploading her recipes and all that. So that was another thing. And I think the difference is like if she wants to learn something, then she will like ask us, or like she will make sure it happens. Like she'll take that step to get there. She'll nag her father, she'll nag me. Like, I want this, I want that. And like even this novel.
So yeah.
Yeah, even the novel that we showed you, initially it just started like just to pass the lockdown, but then now after she started reading it and she was so much into it and she finished it in 2 weeks. Now she's like going into doing YouTube live and all that. Like I think that way there's something that like she goes towards what interests her, and somehow she's able to like survive her passion.
I run retreats at home where our participants arrive from different places in the country for their own development. And we sometimes work with families where families come and stay with us, and we give them feedback on their parenting and these sort of things. So now my daughter and my wife, initially they were in the other house in the town, which we don't have now. But slowly what has happened now is we are all together as a family running these workshops. So my daughter slowly started to take roles in running these workshops. So what initially she started with cooking snacks. You want to come? Huh? So my daughter was just come.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Vipasana, no?
Vipasha.
Vipasha. Hello, Vipasha.
Hi.
We were just talking about you and how you have been homeschooled and that you want to go back to school. What is the reason that you want to go back to school?
One is that here nearby all my friends also have their online classes, and so I get very bored at home all day. And also like I feel that I'm more like I'm
So she says she feels like being very lonely.
Mm.
Or she's not in the.
She's like living in an island.
Okay, so but school has a lot of other things, like you have to do reading, writing, studying. Is that okay with you?
I enjoy all this.
Okay. And so do you have anything that you want to do in future in your mind? Like, have you decided to do something? It's okay if you have not decided, that's completely fine. I'm just asking you if you have anything in your mind.
So she said the answer. She said it very lightly. She said she wants to dance.
That's excellent. So okay, that's very nice. So do you enjoy traveling with your parents and running the resort, the retreat? Sorry.
Yeah.
Epi, how was your experience?
So, which is your favorite place in the travels that we did, and where you enjoyed or learned more? Say, if you can. Give me one example.
இந்த place இருந்தது ஏதாவது ஒரு place
Say, if you can.
It was Jodhpur.
Okay. Hello.
Hello,
So your 4-year-old, you're not planning to send him to school. Does he enjoy staying at home?
We took him to a Montessori. Okay, during one of our travels because he was getting bored, so we had to find some place to take him. So finally, we found a Montessori, and they were okay to allow him to play for some time. So we were like, okay, let's explore. And he went for I think for 10 days. Okay. And the challenge was he didn't want to sit inside the classroom. He wanted to be outside. Okay. And so the teachers were also were coming and playing with him outside. And they were trying to cajole him to different ways to take him inside and do the activities that he was scheduled to follow. Okay. By then, my wife was also there because the first 10 days. So my wife was also there. So the teachers were also a little more conducive. So so that the teachers were more sensitive because the parents were also there. But they were trying him to find ways to bring him in. But this guy was adamant. He was always like, can we play hide and seek? So he brought all the teachers out. Okay. And then given a choice, we had a choice of going to a beach, going to the school. He was so interested in going to the beach only. And he will say, no, not to the school, we'll go to the beach. Okay. Even though I enjoyed the kids and play time there, but it didn't last long. And now if you ask him, he doesn't want to go to school. So we are now in the farm. So we have about 6 or 7 hens. We have 2 cats. We have 3 dogs. And he has some 2-3 children to play with. So far, so good. He doesn't really ask for a school, or we also don't think about a school. We are happy. I think I have uploaded one video of him cutting vegetables. So yeah, so he is very active in the home, doing many things and fighting with his sister and both the siblings. So life goes on. As of now, it's okay. But maybe when the lockdown finishes, we usually that's our first strategy. Like attract some children in the evening so that they can come home and play with us. So that he gets some people. I think another 2-3 years he will survive that, and then we have to see what he is going to ask for after that.
Actually, this is actually very personalized by person. Like some kids really like to socialize, be with lots of people, or some kids really want to just stay and do their thing. So we cannot generalize anything. We cannot take a person who is really wants to spend their time alone and put them to school. Like you said, he doesn't want to go right now. Or you cannot take someone who wants to be with people and you tell them stay here alone and do that. So you will have to find the balance and find out what kind of kids you have, or like what kind of the child they are.
See, my reaction to this is the personalities that our children exhibit are usually influenced by us. Okay, so if if I am very moody, if I don't speak out much, my children also can learn that from me. Okay. And if I am putting them in a good group activities and still they want to go and sit in a corner, then you can say, okay, they are enjoying being little with themselves. But because one of the things that I found with my daughter, she was so engrossed with her own self. She's been for 7-8 years, she's been only with herself. Even though we had traveled and engaged, see, there's nobody to fight with her doll. She will have the dolls for herself. So when we had the 4-year-old coming in, it was a big shock for my daughter because she can't do certain things because he will also do it. And so I think she has become more sharing, and she has learned a little bit about leadership and getting along with others after the second child had come. Okay, and now after the third one has come, I feel now they are, now anything comes up, they have to share, because everyone will pull it in one direction. And this is what they have been missing before. And when they were going for tuition, they had a situation where my daughter was interested in dance. So she was preparing a group to dance because there are 2-3 more people who were interested in dance. So when they all had to choreograph on their own, they had to come together and choreograph. We gave them space. Every day they will fight for whose step will be the first step. Because each one will come up with some step and everybody wants their step to be the first one. And at the end of the 1 hour session, there will be one girl who would have fought and not talked and go angry back to home. This will happen every day. And, these kind of fights, we can't provide them in home. They need to go somewhere sustainably where they understand that, oh, I have to give in to this child. I have to give and share and, create a harmony in the team. That sense was missing from our home experience. Then from a tuition experience, we were able to get it a little bit. Now with 2 more children at home, she is getting it 24/7. So what I'm trying to say is, that a child, if you put them in environment, they may start to socialize and they may start to like it also. Before we can categorize them as, okay, they want to be lonely like that.
Yeah. And in city also, it's if you're like stable at one place, you still have kids on your street, around your neighbors, and you can still go to park. And if they're interested in anything in particular, you can take them to a class, like a singing class, dancing class. You are still exposing your kids to a group of people over and over again. So they still have the opportunity to mingle and find friends.
Yeah, I mean, usually, parents, as a parents of homeschooler, we often say that, okay, they have got enough socialization through because they're going with elders, they're going with other people, all that. See, the challenge is, from my daughter, what I saw her is, there is a age after which they don't want the dad or the mother.
Yeah.
They just want to go and do something with their aged peers. Okay, and if that aged peer group is a constant thing, if it is the same group, you have a same problem coming out of that group. And that puts them in edge, that puts them in a corner because they just can't engage with a person because the person is very difficult or something like that, it puts them in. So what I'm trying to say is that if you get a same sort of people in a group, it definitely leads to some kind of new socialization.
Yeah.
Whereas a kind of a passing breeze is something that we are able to provide constantly. But at least, when we were in Bangalore, if you do the homeschooling meetups, if same sort of children come back, you have the same sort of problems that the children will get into, but what we found was many homeschoolers don't turn up constantly. It's just 1 or 2 who will turn up constantly. So the child doesn't make those friendships and fights in a long term, So that is something that you can achieve. You can try and achieve. If you can achieve that, then you may get these experiences for the children also.
We'll just take the question from the chat. The last that I could see is, could you ignite us with how you transform the insecurities in each stage converted into productive action.
Insecurities of mine or of my daughter?
I think you're insecurity. Ankita, you can come
Yeah,
on.
I am there. So this is in regarding with, see, most of us are very comfortable sending children to school, but there is this fear: is my child going to miss out on anything when we pull them out of school and start doing it? How are we going to get our children to be well equipped? Am I doing justice to in their learning process? So these are the different insecurities a parent feels in every stage. How are you trying to fulfill it is the question.
So, you mean when you pull out the child from the school?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, see, even today, I don't want to be the sole decision maker for this family. Okay. And whatever decisions that we are taking has to be together. Like
Right.
my daughter says she wants to go to school. When we decided that we were moving from Bangalore, because we didn't find constant homeschoolers. We are not able to find, because they are all floating homeschoolers. You could meet them one week, you could not meet them another week. So so when I moved from Bangalore and we wanted to go elsewhere, we tried 2-3 places. We went and stayed in a friend's place in Chennai for 1 month. We went and stayed in a school, an alternate school in near Dharmaburi for 1 month in a rural place for my daughter. And then we decided to come to Krishnagiri, and in my hometown we stayed there also. So what I'm trying to say is, we are exploring what is possible and what is available together, and we decide on what we can do for my child, or she can make a decision on that also, and we should be happy with what is possible. So there's no such insecurities as such, but anything happens, it's a collective responsibility of me, my wife, and my child. So like she was there in the school in alternate school. It was in a rural area where she stayed for a month. 1 month she enjoyed, but after that she was angry and she didn't want to go there. Okay. And now when we come back to our hometown, we understand that these are the choices available. Either you go back to Bangalore, either you go to this kind of rural school, or you go to Chennai. We have given a glimpse of every lifestyle to the child. So the child finally says, okay, we can be in hometown only. I'll go to the local school. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't do more than what is possible. There is definitely a limitation of what we can do. And I think the best choice we make, we should be happy with that. There is definitely some things your child is going to miss growing with in the home. There is definitely something that they are going to excel growing in the home. So it's a trade-off, that what you get and what you give. And the beauty with homeschooler is now you are the person in charge. So if you really miss something, can you design something for that and then go after it? So I'll give you an example. Yeah. Cities, you have lots of options available, no? Lots of classes available, where lots of schools available, where you can go and negotiate 1 hour, my child can come and feel the school, like that. So this constant exploration, I think, is a must. We were going to Kerala for water birthing. I'll just tell you this example. And then I took my family along, because this whole thing is like an extraordinary experience for us. Going to a new city, living in a new place, and 1 month, 2 months, 1 month we are planning to stay there and then birth the child and come back. Okay. So the moment we went and stayed in a place there, I wanted to find some engagement for my daughter. I went around checking for dance classes because she was interested. I went and checked with one teacher there. And I asked her, can I get her some Veena class? And can you organize it every day? Because now that we are here for 1 month, she can learn it. So the teacher said, 1 month Veena, what is she going to learn? She's not going to learn much, and it takes years to learn Veena. But you can send her to my dance class if you want. I will teach her every day. She can come. I will teach her Mohiniyattam. So I sent her every day, fixed up a lady auto driver who will pick her up. Every day she will go 1 hour and she will do the dance. And then she will come back. So, and she went on like this for every day. And the teacher was teaching her on a one-to-one basis. In 1 month, my wife delivered. And we were supposed to come back. In another 10 days, we were about to leave that place. What I found out was my daughter has picked up a dance very well. The teacher was extremely happy with the speed of learning. And she had learned one dance and she was nearing completion of that one dance. So I thought, she's learning this one long dance. It goes for about 25-30 minutes. Okay. So I thought, and then she said, actually, how many more dances are like this? You can teach her. She said, we have 3 dances. But now I have taught her one dance because now you're going to leave, you can leave. I came back, I told my wife and discussed. I said, now we go back, she will never get to learn Mohiniyattam again. I said, can we extend 1 more month so that she can finish the second dance also? So we extended our stay for 1 more month, learned good enough dances, and then we came back. And now that we came back here, there was a dance competition here. She wanted to go and perform, and she performed. She was the only one who performed Mohiniyattam. And she feels her self-confidence is very up because now she has learned a dance form which nobody else knows, and people look at her and she could perform on stage before everybody. So I feel homeschooling gives you this possibility of collecting all the diamonds from here and there and putting things together. So you don't have to travel across state to do this. Because I was having a job of traveling across state, I could do that. But for you guys, if you are in cities, there are so many areas and so many teachers available in cities. If you can find them and go there, take them there, bring them back and do all sorts of this, go around the city, what you want to teach them, show them those possibilities. You can come to our home. We are, 1.5 hours away from Bangalore. So, I think a lot can happen if homeschooling people work together as a community. But many don't survive the first level of honeymoon only. They just, once some differences crop up, we fight and we move out. But if you can stick on and say, okay, I don't like this, I don't like Suma, I don't like her husband, I don't like their home, but you go to her home and play. That should be the attitude that I should have. Then we will be very strong as a community.
Yeah. There's one more question. What has been your biggest challenge in terms of unschooling your daughter? I think finding her social life is been your biggest
challenge.
And if you were to read something, what would you like to redo in the whole journey?
If you had to redo, what to do that? One of the key things was, when my daughter had to go to school, when she wanted to go to school, she didn't say she wanted to go to school. She wanted to play. That was her need. Okay. And I used to take her to different schools and say, okay, let's try this school. Let's try this school may have some more freedom, because we don't want her to be controlled and pressured in the school. I took her to a girls' high school. I told her that the government school, you can take off whenever you want. Things may be a little easy. I went here and we turned out to be that it is a higher secondary school